Hi, everybody. Welcome to another live episode of The Grid. My name is Scott Kelby, and I am joined once again
I'm nervous.
by Matt Kluskowski. Here he is, Matt.
We're back. We've been on a show together for a while.
Let's blow it up. Anyway, hey, welcome. Ski, what you been doing?
We actually had some good shows while you were gone. Not that we don't when you're here, but we don't.
It's okay. So, I know what you meant.
No, we last week, I don't even remember, but we had
Moose
and Lou Freeman. Dude, we had a killer show with Moose.
I heard it was really, really good.
Well, you know what it is I don't think anybody would argue. Moose is a big personality.
Oh yeah, bold.
I don't think Moose would argue it. Moose is a big personality.
Yeah.
And I'd never met Lou before. And when I did meet Lou does not come across as a big personality, but she came on that show, and dude, I think everybody was silent because she just had so much great information.
She's a pro.
And then Moose jumps in, and I just sat back, and the two of them just talked the whole show.
There you go.
It was a really good show.
Who knew? Moose and Lou.
Yeah, they did great. Made it easy for me.
Great. Hey, I just got back from a trip I went from Prague down to Budapest and did a river cruise. A couple things. First off, tomorrow night I'm doing a webcast about it. It's completely free, and I'm going to fill the webcast with travel photography tips, travel photography techniques, and I'm also going to do Photoshop and Lightroom techniques. So all about travel photography. So it's completely free. It's brought to you by your friends here at Kelby One. So all you have to do is it's a free thing which you have to register for. Go to kelby1.com/from Prague to Budapest, and put a dash in between from Prague to Budapest. So it's from dash Prague dash to dash Budapest dashed. And anyway, sign up right there. It's completely free. It's going to be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. New York City time. RC will be joining me here. I asked RC to join me because he's been to Prague. He just went to Prague this year, and I thought we'd be Prague buddies. Prague buddies. Speaking of Prague buddies, I met some of the coolest people. So before I left town, and I wrote about this on my blog. If you go to my blog, which is scottkelby.com, you can see a lot of the pictures. Maybe you guys will pull it up here if you get a chance on the screen there. I'm talking to the control room, not you at home. But anyway, before I left, I said, "Hey, I'm going to keep going, go." That was the right blog, wrong post. Go down. Anyway, I put this little thing out. Said, "Hey, I'm going to Prague and I'm going to Budapest." And so I got right away a guy named Lucas comes back to me and says, "Hey, I live in Prague. I'll be happy to take you around." And scroll down a little more. You'll see Lucas here in a minute. There he is. So there's me. Right beside me is Lucas. Lucas is a newspaper photographer. There he is, and he's right beside me. Newspaper photographer there in Prague, and very, very good photographer. So on the far end is Ivan, the world's largest human.
Dude, who is that?
That's Ivan. He's very tall. But so Ivan after I met Lucas, Ivan's a friend of Frank Doerhoff's. And Frank says, "Oh, you got to meet Ivan." Ivan actually runs, I guess, photo tours Prague. He takes people on photo tours.
Oh, wow.
So I met Ivan, and then Ivan brought his friend Tomas, who is a really, really cool guy. But these are three really good photographers. I mean, these guys are seriously really good in their own right. But they were funny as crap. We had the best time. Dude, we had such a killer time. They were really, really a lot of fun. We met 2 days in a row and got up very, very early in the morning. I have some stories that are more, some surprising stories to tell tomorrow night some shocking things happened while we were there. But anyway, thanks to those guys. They were wonderful. When I got to Budapest, another photographer reached out to me. Can we show his picture if you go a little further? You go down here, you'll see in a studio, a little further. Victor, does this go a little further? That's not him. There we go. All right, there's Victor. And so Victor and I hung out for the day in Budapest, and we stopped by his studio. He has this, you can't believe what he gets he's got the best studio. It's got a full kitchen. It's got like another area in this. You can't believe what he pays for it. I don't want to say but it's the best deal in the world to be in downtown Budapest, which is an amazing city, and to have the studio that he has. It's just he's a really cool guy. He sent me some of his work. I guarantee you'll be hearing about this guy. He's really he's very young. I think he's like 23 years old, and he and I had a blast. We hung out everywhere. We almost got arrested in the opera. It was lots of fun. Great folks. We really had a good time. I'll tell you more about that tomorrow night, but we got to get to the show because we have a special guest today. We have Mike Kubeisy here. We call him Mike Hollywood Kubeisy because he is is a photographer in Hollywood, duh. But he's the show photographer for NCIS, and he's been on a bunch of the CSIs and all kinds of stuff. He's done classes for us at Kelby One. He's here taping a few things for Kelby One, and of course we asked him to be on the show because he's our buddy and we just love him, and he's really good. Also, giving away some stuff today. I got a live seminar coming up next Tuesday in Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville! I love Nashville, one of the coolest cities in America. I will be there next Tuesday. So if you want to come and join us, there'll be hundreds of photographers. You'll be along with us. Come next Tuesday. Go to kelby1.com /live/ I don't know.
Let's go to kelby1.com/live.
Yeah, there we go.
You'll find it. So Corey Barker's, he's kicking off his brand new seminar tour in New Orleans, right?
Yeah, so he's going to New Orleans. He's got a brand new tour. It's all on special effects and down and dirty tricks, and it's just going to be crazy. He's unbelievable at Photoshop. So you can go see him. And Joe McNally is got his brand new tour. So not brand new tour. He's picking up his tour where he left off. He's going to, I believe, San Jose, California on the 19th. Joe McNally live. So
in Seattle.
We're going to give away a ticket. We're going to give away 2 tickets. How's that? 2 tickets to each one of those.
All right.
So you'll be able to register for that. Of course, Las Vegas Photoshop World's coming up in September. We want you to go to that. Go to photoshopworld.com. Here's the big one, real quick. I know we're running out of time. Jeremy Cowart, his brand new class just came out this week. Not this week. Thursday. So Jeremy and I went down to Miami, and he took one light, and you will not believe the stuff he pulled off. Now, I know that he had a ton of fans from the last 2 classes he did, the location photography. We did them in Venice, and I'm just there kind of like I am with Jamie Zell. I'm there asking questions. Jeremy's class, he's teaching it. I'm just kind of there as a host. We did the same thing. However much you liked his ones in Venice, this is better. Number one, he's grown as a teacher. He's even better than he was. And the situations where we had to shoot and stuff, you go, you can't make a picture here, and he makes a picture, you're like, really, he's incredible.
Dude, he's awesome at that. I remember we were with him in San Francisco. Remember, we were in that, just warehouse area.
In a warehouse, and Brad brought me over and said, look what he's doing. He's incredible. So you can rent the class for like $7. You can buy the class, or if you're on Kelby One subscriber, you can just watch it as much as you want.
Cool. All right, we'll also be giving away your book, Photoshop for Lightroom Users. That book. And then we'll also be giving away Corey Barker's Photoshop Down and Dirty Tricks for Designers. So you'll be able to get that too. And I think that's about it.
That's it. Should we get ready for Mike?
We should get ready for Mike.
All right.
We're going to tease our topic, if they don't know already.
If you don't know what our topic is, we got a salacious topic today. Tell them, Matt.
Is Photoshop for photographers dead? Is it? Or is it not?
The only way for you to possibly know is to come back after the break. And when we come back after the break, we're going to talk to Hollywood Mike, and we'll be tackling this topic in just a few moments. Don't go away. We're live here on The Grid. Stick around.
Get the world's best photography, lighting, and Photoshop training at Photoshop World. Here's the top 10 reasons you should attend. It's 3 non-stop days of real-world training where you can get personal attention and unlimited access to the world's top instructors in Photoshop and photography. When you attend, you'll have chances to experience hands-on live shoots and workshops, outrageous after-hours parties and events, and hundreds of classes for all skill levels, along with dozens of opportunities to network with other attendees. In-depth, one-on-one portfolio reviews from industry professionals and see new cutting-edge technology. Plus, you can even earn continuing education and graduate-level credits from attending. This is the must-attend conference for photographers and Photoshop users. Use the promo code to get an extra $50 off. Click here to sign up today. Photoshop World, the world's best Photoshop and photography conference.
Hey, we're back here, and look who's here. our buddy Hollywood.
Hi.
We just call him Hollywood, but other people call him Mike Kubeisy.
I get called a lot of things. But thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, dude, are you kidding? We're glad to have you here.
Wow, yeah, I fist bumped, but yeah,
Blow it up.
We got it.
So can we tell a story how we met, Mike?
Yes, this is a great story. Absolutely.
All right. So, God, what was it? It had to be 8, 9 years ago.
Yeah, 8, 9 years ago.
We were doing Photoshop World in wherever the heck it was, Miami.
Miami and Vegas, of course.
So yeah, so we come up with a new theme for every Photoshop World. And when I say we, usually this guy and a couple other people, and the theme was CSI. Creative Suite Instruction, because that's when Adobe had released the whole Creative Suite thing. So CSI Creative Suite Instruction, and we decided to kind of pull the whole CSI theme into it, so to make it very forensic and whatnot. So I think we announced it, and then Mike sends in just a random email and says, hey, I'm the photographer out on the CSI set, right, and we might be able to get you guys out onto the set, because you'd been to Photoshop World and you know that we always do up a movie and everything for it. And says, I think I can get you guys out onto the CSI New York set in LA. And we're like, yes.
But you know what was crazy about it? So we're with Mike on the set and we're watching them tape CSI New York. Yeah. We're all watching. And they would go, bing, they'd ring a bell, okay, break time. They would walk off, and literally, we would walk on to the lit set. We got lab coats on, and we're doing all these, we're building this movie. And he got us into all kinds of different sets, and I'm like, because really, what did CSI have in it to let us on the set? But they loved this guy so much, they were like, oh, Mike, you want to have our set? Sure, go ahead. And it was crazy.
It was wonderful.
It was a crazy experience. We were in the morgue area,
the autopsy area with drawers.
The autopsy area. It's like the one lab set. I went over to grab a pen, and Mike's like, "Don't touch the pen," because the continuity director, I guess, everything has to be in the right place.
He was like, touch that pen and you die.
And just to see the screens outside the windows that made it daytime and nighttime and all that stuff.
It's Hollywood.
It was crazy, man. Yeah, it was awesome.
It's a magical place. Yeah, absolutely.
So that was a fun one.
Good. Yeah,
so that's how we met, Mike. And, and over the years, of course, we've become good friends. Mike did a class for us, at Photoshop World, done classes for us on Kelby One on Hollywood lighting, because that's your thing.
That is my thing. I love lighting. Is great. I work with some of the best lighting people in the world, and I'm always trying to instruct other people. Use this tool, try this effect, use this combination, use some gels, light the background, light the foreground, and it's been very exciting, very positive.
You did a cool class for us on using Hollywood tools on the cheap for photographers. Stuff that they do in Hollywood every day, don't think that much about it, but we were at In-N-Out Burger on Sepulveda.
Right. By the airport.
By the airport. It wasn't on Sepulveda, right?
Yes, it was. No. We met at the one at Sepulveda.
Yeah. And so great. Mike's telling me about this class, and I'm thinking, he's telling me, and I'm like, now that's a good idea for a class, because some of the stuff that you do in Hollywood, you don't think about it. It's every day. Oh, we use this, and I'm like, I've never heard of these things.
Oh yeah, Stinger.
So exactly, Stinger. That's right. And a baby plate.
A baby plate.
Baby plate. Everyone needs a baby plate.
What's a baby plate?
There are so many. It's a plate with a 6-inch spud. And you can get it in 9-inch spuds.
What's a 6-inch what?
Spud.
A spud?
A spud. And no, it's not like the beard, the Budweiser guy, but
Spud McKenzie.
And it enables you to put a light down low, and sometimes we'll screw it down onto an Apple box. Instead of...
I know what an Apple box is.
You do know what an Apple box is.
Yeah, it's full of apples.
Sometimes people will use the background stands, made by Manfrotto or whatever, but they're about... Oh, heck, I don't know.
Yeah, the lowest you can get them is about
18 inches or something. This you can put literally on the ground, secure. We're real into safety. We don't want anything being tipped over or anything. And they make these baby plates. But not only can you mount it on the floor, you can mount it on the side of a wall or even on a ceiling.
Baby plate.
A baby plate. They're wonderful.
With the spud?
With the spud.
And a stinger.
And a stinger. And you can get, actually they make a 12-inch spud too. But and it's just
the lingo.
It is the lingo. It takes about 3 months to understand the lingo.
People are writing in already. Alan Hess says, Mike's wearing a salad color. Wow. Yeah, because you're kind of flashy.
Oh, I do my best. You do? It's that Southern California sunshine
Monty
surfing.
LaMontagne says, I can always tell it's Mike yelling me down the hall at Photoshop World, because he says, hey.
That's funny. What a great artist he is.
Oh, yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah. Some of the other really cool things we try to implement, a lot of people shoot in their garage. And with all the stands in the way, there are different mounting plates that you can rig up for a hair light from the ceiling up on top. I guess I shouldn't do that. So that you don't get the stand coming out of the back of their head.
Dude, your phone's on?
That wasn't mine.
That would cost you $5 on the set.
That wasn't mine.
That's the first thing that they say. What did Ronaldo say?
Wasn't
Did
mine.
Everybody got their phones
off.
Wasn't mine.
That's $5, dude.
That wasn't
$5.
mine.
That's right.
I have
All right,
no
hey,
idea.
We have questions for you.
I
We have
have-
three questions.
I
We've got a
have
great
answers.
topic today, and you're going to help us with our topic, but I
hope
got a
so.
couple of questions.
Okay.
Number one.
Yes, sir.
How'd you get a job in Hollywood? Because everybody wants to work on a TV show, right? Wait. First, what TV shows?
Presently, I'm working on the #1 show in the world, NCIS.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the top 3, depending on the ratings and what's going on, NCIS Los Angeles with LL Cool J and Chris O'Donnell. Great people. Occasionally, I'll be shooting on Agents of the Shield. A lot of kids watch that. I just worked on Pretty Little
Dude,
Liars.
I watched that too.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Good.
It's a good show. I watch it with my kids.
All right, of course. Pretty Little Liars, and I started working on that from the very beginning. I can't imagine how many of the teenage girls love that show. When my son's girlfriend saw that I was going to work, she texted in bold caps, "I'm going to work with you." And, it's a lot of fun. We blew up a house, very large.
What's some other big shows you worked on? You worked on Jeopardy for years?
I started, that's how I got started, on Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. I was working for a photographer as an assistant out of school, Ron Slenzak. Ron used to shoot all the Motown, A&M, movie posters, all kinds of stuff. And he had the King World account with Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. Well, his day rate was getting so high, it wasn't worth it for him to go and shoot Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune. So he said, I know you want to get on the sets. You go shoot these. I'll give you $125 a day. We would shoot 5 episodes in one day, so you'd shoot a whole month in a week. I was happy as can be because I'm on the set. You'd shoot the show and get the days for the union, make the contacts, get the experience. There's a lot of set etiquette you need to know. You never run anywhere because then that can create a panic. Why is that person running? And then just when to shut up and just listen.
I'll let your phone go off.
I've watched you on the set, like you were on NBC's Chuck.
Yes.
And I came and watched
Yes,
that
you-
and all.
yeah, we had a
I
lot
got
of
to
fun.
tell you, you're smooth on the set, dude. He's got all the politics down. He's like, everybody loves Mike. Everybody, all the celebrities love Mike. The director loves Mike. You're just so friendly and easy to get along with. Unlike how you are here today. When you're working with them, you're very nice and friendly.
Wow.
Well, you never.
Did I tell you?
You don't know how to take that,
by
too,
the
but
way.
it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly
There's
right.
a compliment and a jab in there.
No, but you know what was cool about it
Double
is
jab.
like you just get this impression from you that nothing's a problem. Like when you're watching Mike work, whatever they ask you to do, whatever you're not like, well, I don't know, that's going to be car. Mike's like, okay, I got this, and he just, I can understand why shows would want to use you because they feel like, and part of it is because you have the confidence of all those years.
Yes.
But the other part of it is just the way you handle everything. Nothing seems to ruffle your feathers.
Thank you. Well, it is years of experience. It's just having confidence in your equipment and what you're doing, and knowing if I need help with anything, the help's there. You just have to ask for it. And we're all just out there to do a good job. You get in there, you get your shot. You have to remember, in what I do, I'm just one guy, and there's 100 guys behind me getting paid a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So you have to get in and get out. But again, you need to know what's going on. You have to observe. You're always watching when's a good time, when's not a good time. Is the actor reviewing their lines? Can I interrupt the actor? Does the actor know I have to get this picture? There's a lot of things going on.
Give us some dirt, though. Nobody you're working with now, because we don't want you to get fired. But what's it like working with celebrities?
You know what? The ones that I get along with the best are the ones who are like moms and dads, that are real people. There was a show called E-Ring. It lasted.
I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I won't divulge too much, but there was an actor. One night we were working very, very late, and he copped me an attitude, and man, I copped him back. And that's the last night I worked on that show. And I had to apologize to him, and rightfully so, because that's just not my personality. But we snapped, and it was so wrong. But
you never worked on that show again?
Never worked on that show.
Well, maybe that's why it didn't.
And that's,
succeed.
Exactly. But
maybe
you know what?
the
That's
stools
a
weren't
good
up to
show.
the show
I
got
did
canceled.
I did like the show.
I left the show and it got canceled. So, you know.
Yeah, it's telling you
you don't want
something.
to let Mike go. He's
That's
like,
right. You know,
all right. Hey, so the other thing, I want to ask you 3 things. Number 1, how you got your job.
Okay.
Number 2, I wanted to ask you about working with celebrities.
Right. Did I answer that?
Well, yeah, you were just
Okay,
kind of.
all
Well,
right.
you said the ones that were nice were the moms and dads,
Right.
regular
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, they are. They're fantastic.
And number 3 is, how does somebody go about getting a job in Hollywood? If someone out there is watching and saying, "Man, I would love to get a job in Hollywood," what's the like? You did it at a different time,
Right. First of all, stay away from the NCIS offices because I want to.
That's step 1.
That's step 1. Stay away from NCIS. No. Nowadays, you need to just find out the independent movies, the independent shows, and there's a ton of those. A lot of the students who graduate the universities go and make their small independent movies. A lot of the stuff that's at Sundance, the competitions, those are all independent movies. You get attached to those through production reports. The internet now is such an access. If you were to find out, go online and look at just independent movies in production. Contact them and say, listen, I'm going to work for free, but I want to shoot some stills for you, some publicity behind the scenes, maybe some promotional stuff if they like your work. That is 1 day. And then if they call you back the next day, that's 2 days. You need 30 days to get in the union in 1 year.
Oh,
Now,
that's interesting.
the big key, and this is it's not quite accurate. And I used to think if I can just get in the union, man, and this was back in the days when we wore silk jackets and cowboy boots, I'd have it all. The union card gives you permission to shoot on a union show, but it does not get you the job. Right? So now you have to network. Hopefully someone refers you. And when you get that opportunity, I got my first union show. It was Diagnosis Murder with Dick Van Dyke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And matter of fact, Dick Van Dyke was doing an exam on Andy Griffith in the examining room of the set. I walk on the set, and I'm usually not starstruck. I grew up watching those guys, you know?
Yeah.
It was really cool. How I got that job, a graphic designer who has his own business, who provides all the posters and stuff for the TV shows, very good friend of mine. The photographer who was shooting the show showed up to work that day with 3 rolls of film. And that's nothing. I mean, remember 3 rolls of film were done, 5 minutes. Well, that just so upset the prop master. He contacted my friend and said, do you know any photographers? Well, he gave them my name. So I came in the next few days and he asked me, he goes, well, the show deals with dead people. Is that going to bother you? I'm like, are you kidding me? Wonderful, let's do it. So I went in, met everybody. In between film reloads, I would go in and do my thing. While I was shooting, unbeknownst to me, he was so impressed with my set etiquette and style, he was contacting 2 other prop masters, one who was working on the original 90210. So the next thing I know, within a week, I had gotten 2 new shows, union shows. And through professional butt kissing pretty much and just hustling, keeping your mouth shut.
Professional butt kissing.
Yeah, and I'm not ashamed of that.
I know.
I'm good at it.
That's how you got here.
That's how I got that video. That's right.
It works.
So
Very
it does
effective.
work.
Very
And
effective.
you know what? You just stay humble and do your job and just do the best you can do.
Well,
And
there
that
you
was
go.
it.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
There
A
you
couple
go.
of questions here. Alan S. says, I can ruffle Mike's feathers. Just show him a photo of a model with her hands in her hair. You do hate that.
Dude, I hate it too. I'm with you.
You know what? I only hate it if you can see their armpit.
Oh, Alan is so funny. He went up to me in Vegas. I finally showed him that. Oh man, she's got a headache. And he said, dude, he says, I hate you. He said, never can I look at a picture anymore and not think of that headache shot.
I know the answer to the second question.
I do
here.
too.
I know because I've heard you tell
Yeah.
stories. So S.A. Richer asks, Mike, please tell me Mark Harmon is a gentleman. I have a lot of admiration for the fact that he and Pam Dauber have a long-time Hollywood marriage. You've told me so many stories about Mark, but I'll let you say it yourself.
Mark Harmon and Pam Dauber are fantastic. Mark Harmon, when on most shows, you have the background, the extras. And I don't know where this came from, and I personally think it's wrong. When we break for lunch, the extras always have to wait for the crew and the actors to go through the food line. Mark, you don't do that on NCIS. You're a person. You're working just as hard as we are. Also, a lot of actors will cut in front of the food line to get their food and go sit in the trailer. not Mark. Mark gets in line where the line is for him. And if they run out of something, he will go and get it. Many times, hey, I'm going to go to craft service. Do you need anything? You know, and he'll come back with his hands full of water, coffee, cookies, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it says a lot about his character.
Oh my God,
Yeah, you've talked a lot. You've said that many times.
And again, as I said earlier, when the actor comes, hey, Mark, how's it going? He says, great, Mike. How are your kids? How are the boys? How's your wife? Those are huge points for me. Not that you have to score points with me, but that's the way he is, and he's sincere. When my boys show up on the set, years ago they used to have Mark played quarterback for UCLA.
Yeah.
So we happened to be wearing USC sweatshirts, the big city rivalry, and he would look at the boys. He has this amazing smirk on Mark's face. It's just, you can tell it. He smirks, nods his head, and then gives the boys big hugs. Another thing that Mark does, he'll walk by, and there are days he's in the zone. You know, he's got to do something. But if he walks by and he smacks you upside the shoulder, you know you're doing good. That's his way of like, good job, you just keep it up. And he's a gentleman. He's anything you need, he'll help you. And his wife, what a sweetheart. Mark was awarded a star on Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah. Pam was right there, and she was more interested in making sure we were accommodated, the crew, and that I was able to get in there and get the shots that Mark and the crew wanted, not the publicists. She was a doll. They're fantastic people.
There you go. Just a couple more questions.
Mark, great guy.
John Karen says, do celebrities get annoyed when you have to photograph them during filming?
Yes.
Yes, they do.
And I can tell you that through experience. When you're shooting publicity during filming, you're using a blimp, and it's a casing that surrounds your camera and your lens to soundproof the camera. Nowadays, with the high fidelity audio equipment, there are times you have to put your camera, the Canon, in silent mode and in the blimp to make it quiet. The other thing you have to do, which I'm not good at doing, you have to wear a black sweatshirt or a dark blue sweatshirt, black pants, so that when you're moving, you're not. If I wore this shirt, I wouldn't even be welcome on the set. I'd have to turn around and change. Some actors will accommodate you. Some actors will flat out stop the production, point at you, and tell you to leave. Yeah, I've had that done a couple times.
Ouch.
And if you handle it right, they feel guilty.
Let me see if that works here. Brad.
That black shirt.
Oh! Saluted, sir.
He's not going. I don't think he's going.
He did give you a salute.
He gestured that he would not be going.
Yes, he gestured.
Ouch. Well, hey, we got a great topic today. I'm sorry, Mike. We got so off track, but it's interesting. It's fascinating, all this Hollywood stuff.
Somebody asked, why do you guys hate the hands on the head thing? I think Mike said it. It looks like a headache.
It looks like a headache. And you know what? And you know how I defend that? When you go to Starbucks or wherever your popular social place is, watch the people. Are the people, is the model you're going to shoot, is the person at Starbucks doing this?
You don't go to the right Starbucks. That's what at my Starbucks.
Maybe I'm in Los Angeles. Are you kidding?
They're like,
and that's kind of a good standard. You know, it's like, do people do that? No, they don't. So
I'm with you, man. I am with you.
It looks such like a headache. So no, don't. All right. Not on my side.
I knew how you were on that one. Hey, real quickly, I want to I don't know if you can see my my laptop here, but I just want to throw something out here. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back with our topic. Can you jump? Okay, here we go. So this is on my blog, not today, yesterday. I did a photo essay called From Prague to Budapest, same name as my show tomorrow night. And I posted the images over on, where is it? Exposure. So, but I want to tell you something cool about Exposure. So yesterday I'm looking at my comments from this post. In fact, I can just go down here. And somebody from Exposure came and offered a discount. A discount for a year of Exposure, 20% off. So I'm just going to hit this real quick and I'll show you. And give it just a second to load here. And it'll be down here. Yeah, right here. So Luke Beard, who is with Exposure, with the site that I use for the storytelling stuff, says 20% off your first year subscription of their Pro or Plus Pro plan. I have the whatever their good plan is. They have a link. So it's weird. You have to go to my blog and follow their link. It's a traffic builder for me. No, it's really not. But go to my blog, go to yesterday's post about Budapest and all that, and then scroll down to the comments, and you'll see Luke Beard here has a thing to join, and it's 20% off. And so it's right there, and this isn't really helping me. But anyway, there it's where you join. Okay, stop. Anyway, that's where it's at. And if you get a chance, you can see the images there, and I hope that it'll make you want to come tomorrow night and see some of this stuff. Oh my gosh, Google Chrome is just kicking my butt. Anyway, that's for our show tomorrow night. We're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about this topic, is Photoshop for photographers dead? We're gonna talk about why we're even doing this topic, and then other important stuff. Cool. Don't go away. We're live here with Mike Kubeisy, Hollywood man, on the set of The Grid. Don't go away.
I'm Mike Kubeisy. Come watch my new video. I'm going to teach you how to do the old Hollywood 30s and 40s newer style lighting, the portraits, the stuff with the hard lights, the shadows. I'm going to teach you how to interact with the model, how to pose her. We're going to talk about an Apple box. I'm going to teach you about grapology, a C-stand. What is it? What's the difference between a glamour shot and a Hollywood headshot? We're going to use lighting. We're going to use diffusion. Make the light turn, create separation, give it a 3D look. So check out my class.
Film noir. So that was the ad for your class.
It was.
It's kind of self-serving, isn't it?
It's cool.
Yeah, I wonder how they got there.
How did it get there? No. Hey, all right. So welcome to our topic. And we usually, I think this will break the record for the longest time before we got to our topic. But Mike's here.
Well, you know what,
Mikey.
Mike, that's a mini topic, because I think it's really, really interesting to hear some of the stuff behind that.
I know.
I mean,
and we
there's a lot
probably
of
should have
great
just
stuff
used
there.
that as the topic.
And we could have I could have asked him questions the whole time, actually.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. But you know what it is? One of the reasons why I wanted to do, you were just here for 2 classes, including like the business side and the inspirational side. And so I didn't want to like totally like, soak those out. There's a couple comments here. Oh, that's about Photoshop stuff. Okay, I'm like, what is this? All right.
Do we want to read some or
well, our topic, we'll get it. We'll read them for sure in here in a minute. Our topic is Photoshop for photographers dead? Why are we even talking about this? Well, there was an article last week in a magazine called Absolute Photo. I think it's a UK-based magazine.
Yeah, you emailed it to me.
And I emailed it to Matt, and I emailed it to some of the guys here, and it was called Is Photoshop... Well, here it is. It says, Is Photoshop dead? That's kind of number one, that's a very shocking thing to see right there. It's like, what?
Yeah, which is why we named the show with that too.
Right, and so and when you read it a little bit more, they talk about is Photoshop dead for photographers? And what I want to say first is it's absolutely not dead. I just think its role has definitely changed.
Yeah.
And so that's what we want to talk about today, is where does it fit in? But I do want to look at a couple of things. If I can just pull up this article here. I had it here just a minute ago, and now of course here it is. So I want to read you a little of it, and there's some things that the author's name is Matty Graham, and he writes for Bright Publishing Company, which is the publisher of the magazine. He writes, Photoshop is as synonymous with image editing as Google is with internet searching. It's so ingrained in our computer culture, blah, blah, blah. As a result, many photographers may assume that it's the best option for successfully working on images, but that simply isn't the case. Well, right there, he's basically saying Photoshop is not the best thing for working on images, for successfully working on images. I could just stop right there and start a whole nother conversation, because I think as good as Lightroom is, I don't think it's as good as Photoshop on any level. It's maybe better at
certain things
like like maybe print layouts or managing catalogs of photos. Well, but is it the best option for successfully working on images? I think Photoshop is...
Go ahead, sorry.
I think Photoshop in general, because you can do... Here's what it is. Lightroom will let you do this much. And honestly, when you get to the end of what Lightroom will do, you're done. It will only do this much. Photoshop will do everything that Lightroom does in the develop module, but there is no wall. You can do whatever your mind imagines. Just look at what Corey Barker does with images, and you will see, right?
Yeah.
You'll see what it does. There is no wall. You never hit a wall that goes, I can't do this in Photoshop. You may not know how to do it,
right? Yeah.
But it can be done. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's 3D, video, whatever it is. Photoshop can do it. And Photoshop is the heart of every single creative thing that we do. From when you see a billboard, to you see a motion picture, to you see whatever, Photoshop was a part of all of that. Lightroom fits in a box. And Lightroom's great. I love Lightroom. I use Lightroom every day. I use Lightroom more than I use Photoshop. But it can't compare with what Photoshop can do for a photographer. Can't even compare.
Yeah, it's you know, he's saying a very broad statement, and by saying that simply isn't the case, doesn't. There's a lot of photographers that would swear by it.
So he goes on to this. There are a multitude of Photoshop alternatives, free, paid, and browser-based. By the way, there's always been a multitude of these things, or in-a-box solutions that will help you organize, edit, and share images. In many cases, these alternative image editing solutions offer a more satisfactory post-production experience for photographers. So much so that Photoshop is rapidly becoming one of the less favorable editing options.
Wow.
My question to you is, Matty Graham, where did you get this? Did Adobe tell you that sales of Photoshop are down? Because I think if you actually talk to somebody at Adobe, by the way, I don't know if you noticed that their stock is at their all-time high in the history of Adobe. I think they would tell you that is not the case. I would say that there are people who could never afford Photoshop before, that $700 was completely out of their range. But $10 a month, they're in. I'm talking to people all over the place that would tell you that they're using Photoshop and they never dreamed they'd use Photoshop. They never dreamed they could afford it. They were like, I never even thought of using Photoshop. It was so far out of my range. $10 a month, I'm in.
I'm curious. I always say consider the source. And I'm not slamming this guy, but I wonder what Marty's got against Photoshop and or why.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking, you guys were on the grid, the guy who slammed the photographer.
Yeah.
He said, wait a minute, man, who's slamming her? Look at this guy's work. I'm curious if this guy even knows how to work Photoshop.
Well, because his name's Matty, I have to defend him in some way. Right. So in Matty's defense, if you read the article, because if you just read what's on the website here, which by the way, that the website points you to their app for the rest of the article, and the rest of the article is in an issue of their magazine in the app that you have to buy.
Right.
So once you read the rest of the article, he goes through. He has 3 case studies. One of them, which I would have picked a different case study than Capture One, and I would have led with a different case study.
Yeah,
than
he started with a case study on Capture One that's as weak of a thing as you can imagine.
I could count on one hand the number of people that I know that use Capture One.
Mm-hmm. The ones that are using Capture One are using a $25,000 digital back.
Exactly.
And so I wouldn't say that, well, they decided to go to this instead of Photoshop. It's like, I can tell you what, I've used one of those digital backs. You have to use Capture One. It's like, you're not getting anything out of there unless you are using Capture One. But I would think that the number of people using Capture One could probably fit in this room. So, but for that very reason, because I mean, the number of people that are spending, do you have a medium format camera?
No, I do. Actually, I have a, no, I don't. I mean, I have a 4x5 camera. It's collecting a lot of dust.
But it's a film one. You got digital back?
Film. No.
Back.
No.
So you're not using Capture One?
No, not at all.
Let's do an informal survey.
Yeah.
Brad, you using Capture One? Oh God! Give us another hand signal. Okay, we'll move on.
But so his first case study was with the Capture One user, who admittedly says, because I think if there is any validity to this argument, it's where Lightroom comes in, and this person admittedly says he started using Capture One before Lightroom ever came out. Person number 2 uses Aperture. As Tom Hogarty from Adobe likes to put it, Aperture 3 is now in kindergarten. Seriously, it's like 4 or 5 years old.
Wow.
And in software years, that's ancient.
Sure.
That's a long time.
That's a long time in software years as far as...
But you know what? Aperture's a very good program.
It is a good program for certain things.
And you know what it is about Apple? They don't tell you anything. They don't tell you, we're working on it.
Nope.
They don't say, you don't know whether that program's dead and they're never going to update it again. And by the way, the lag between Aperture 2 and Aperture 3... Everybody said it was dead. Everybody was shocked.
Dude, do you remember that?
They were stunned when they went, what, they released 3? And 3 was great. They had a lot of great things in there, but that was the end of the development cycle.
In fact, I want to say like the week before they released 3, we had some big discussion and came out of it thinking that it was dead. I mean, it was 7 days before they released it, and we've heard rumors for years about Aperture 4. So,
all right. Oh, hey. This person wrote in. It's the internet. This is the place that exists to make really grandiose statements that don't need silly things like facts that will just get in the way. It's called link bait. Make a big statement that people will say, "Oh no, you didn't. I have to read this."
There might be some truth to that.
Yeah. So, and I don't want to get on this guy because I mean.
Oh, well, because what I meant to say is at the end of the article, because he actually almost kind of goes against what he wrote in the article and says Photoshop is very alive for many, many reasons, and goes on to state those reasons.
But look, he's got a picture of
I know,
Photoshop
dude,
and rest in peace. Can we see this? Look at this. Rest in peace in memory of Photoshop. That doesn't sound like at the end of the article you go,
I know.
oh, well, it's very much
and
alive.
You can't see the end of the article on the web thing here.
All you see
you got to
is
go
Photoshop
pay $5.99 for it.
And then, oh, yeah.
He hooks you.
All right, Matty Graham. I don't know, buddy. So anyway, but I think that it's important for people to realize that Adobe made a very conscious decision. Photoshop was not made for photographers. It just wasn't. It was a graphic designer's tool. When I first picked up Photoshop at Photoshop 2, I was a graphic designer. And I wanted Photoshop to help me make black and white stats. Remember stat cameras?
I do.
You're that old, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're like 102. So anyway, my mic's no response. Back then, it was a graphic designer's tool, and photographers just didn't use it. Today, they've added so many things: 3D, video editing, scientific tools, analytics, all this crazy stuff in there. It is the Swiss Army knife. It does it all. And at some point, Adobe said, you know what? Photographers like Photoshop, but there's just too much here. What if we started from scratch, created a brand new program from the ground up just for photographers? We use photography terms. We're only going to put stuff in there photographers would care about, and it's called Lightroom. And Lightroom has been, it has been a massive success. But you know what? So I'm on my tour. You're out on your Lightroom tour. I talk to people that go. They'll come up and they'll say, yeah, I want to do this one thing. I need to retouch that. I'm like, oh. There comes a point in Lightroom where you realize I have hit that wall. And it can come from adding text to something, from making a simple collage. There's all these things. There's 100 things that Lightroom just won't do. Lightroom does a ton, but every user I've ever met hits a wall where when they get so good at it that they realize I'm ready to move on, and you hit that wall. That's why that deal of Lightroom and Photoshop for $10. It's Lightroom and Photoshop for $10. It's like $5 a piece. Lightroom and Photoshop for $10 is such an amazing deal because as soon as you hit that wall, then you have Photoshop. Yeah. Now, I know that's very easy for us to say because we're Photoshop guys to go, oh, Photoshop's not dead, because the same thing is happening right now over at Google+. Did anybody hear about that? So we know that the guy that started Google+, who ran it, Vic, resigned a month ago with no explanation, just resigned. And then this week, the big news was one of the founders of Google, Sergey, said, well, this isn't exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines of Google+ was a mistake. Now, I've seen people go back and go, well, no, he said his involvement with Google+, they're trying to read some good spin on it. But let me tell you what, if the CEO or the founder of Ford comes out and says, the Ford Focus was a mistake, let me ask you, how much longer do you think they'll be making the Ford Focus? If the CEO, even if he says, my involvement with the Ford Focus was a mistake, how long, Mike? Let me ask you. You've been around the block a couple times. This isn't your first rodeo.
No, sir.
If someone comes out and publicly says at a conference, me making this car was a mistake, how much longer do you think they have?
That car's gone. That guy's gone.
That car's gone. That guy's gone.
Well, I don't think the guy's gone.
But you know what's the thing about Google is they've canceled a lot of very, very big projects over the years. I will say this, when Google says something's not working, they pull the plug. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying when you see the CEO of a company saying my involvement or this was a mistake, it's not a good sign. Back to our story.
Okay, you want to read some comments?
Let's read some comments.
Okay. Robert Norris, nothing is ever dead. It's just not as popular as it was previously, but if you use it, it's alive for you. There may be other tools to use that help make editing easier, but never dead. And I think he's right. You know, part of the point of the topic, I think, is Photoshop isn't dead for photographers. Or I don't want to say Photoshop is dead for all photographers, but I think there's an increasing number of photographers that don't need and won't use Photoshop.
That may be, because you know what?
I think Lightroom has replaced
They'll use
Photoshop
Lightroom.
for many people. And if you look at, because photography has hit the masses. You know, the camera makers and software have made photography so accessible to everybody that not everybody wants to do that next level of retouching or layering or selections. And they're just happy to make a couple of little tweaks, maybe get rid of a telephone wire if they can, and tweak the white balance, the exposure, add a grad filter, and they're done.
You know, it's not about me, but I use Photoshop all the time on dead people in the shows, on the crime scene photos.
You do?
Yeah.
And I asked, I had to ask, I had to ask Mike, and I'm not kidding, to stop sending me dead
people photos.
He would send the most disgusting, like entrails and all this weird stuff. And I'm like,
dude, I remember
seriously, this freaks me out. This freaks me out. He doesn't send it to me. He stopped.
No, you stopped sending it to me too, because that's stuff that I'm not.
I don't need to see that, Mike, and he stopped it.
No, but really, in Photoshop, that they can't do on a living person. Sink the eyes in a little bit and add more lividity and those kind of things. I don't know how to do that in Lightroom.
That's because you can't do it in Lightroom.
So I'll go into Photoshop and do the pinch thing and liquefy, and deaden them up.
But you know what? People that are coming out to my tour right now, my Shoot Like a Pro tour, which by the way is in Nashville next Tuesday, when they come out to my tour and they say, "Hey, I'm not using any software. What should I use?" I don't go Photoshop. I go, Brett. I say to them, "Get Lightroom." Get Lightroom. And then they go, will I ever need Photoshop?
Maybe.
Maybe. Some of you will definitely need Photoshop. Especially if you get into serious portrait retouching and stuff, you gotta have Photoshop. But can I tell you something else too? He didn't really talk about this very much, but I'll tell you what is also a super growth market is plugins. Downloadable plugins. Let me tell you what, the MacFun, I don't know, now this is only for Apple users, it's a Mac only product. It's MacPhun.com. You gotta go see the stuff that they're doing and the prices they're selling that. They're not plugins, they're like downloadable, standalone. Well, do they make plugin versions?
Yeah, they make standalone versions.
So I only use the standalone versions.
Oh God, do they make, you know what?
Let me pull them up.
I don't think so.
But let me tell you, the stuff that they are doing. I was gonna show
that, and that actually goes to the point too of what most plugin companies are doing now. Is we call them plugins, but look at what they're all doing. They're all making standalone products, and they didn't just come out and start making standalone products today. They've been doing it for years, and they keep making new ones. I said this to Scott earlier. That what that tells you is that it's succeeding. There's a market for that. It's succeeding, and in some ways, I think it is replacing Photoshop. If I can get a plugin to do, MacFun has their Snap Heal tool. If I can get a plugin to do healing and cloning for, was it $25?
Yeah, Intensify is one of their most popular ones. And go to their website. Well, there it is, right there. Go to their website. Their Intensify plugin. I think this is like one of the most popular ones. It's $25, and you can try it for free. So go to MacFun, MacPhun.com. Go in there. You can try it for free. These guys. Now, this is some of the guys that were the Nick guys.
I didn't know that.
Right? Some of the Nick guys went off that, after Google bought them and they had like bazillions of dollars throwing it in the air. What will we do? Let's go to MacFun. But no, the programmers are I think in the Ukraine.
Yep.
But they've got offices here in the U.S. I'm telling you what, everybody's talking about their stuff. So go check it out. The quality of what they've got, even just on the standalone things, is really amazing. But the prices are crazy. Let's go to products. Snap Heal.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Snap Heal, $14.99. Right?
For $15.
Look at the before and after on screen. It's like the healing brush and cloning and it works really well. Look at it removing, of course, all the power lines, and it never showed the after. And you're just going to have to imagine what it would look like if you got rid of power lines. But anyway, they're doing some really, really amazing stuff. Hey, that looks like Venice.
And if you'll notice, one of the things that they're all doing too is they're making a suite of their products. They're making almost a standalone application
On One's doing.
that puts everything. Snap Heal doesn't have it's not necessarily like a suite like Lightroom or even what All-in-One does, but they give you a way to jump from one plugin to another.
And it is a plugin for Photoshop. It's a plugin for Lightroom. It's a plugin for Aperture. So you can use them as plugins or as standalone. So if you don't have one of those. But that's another thing. All-in-One, what they're doing with their suite right now, their suite is on fire.
It's a replacement if you wanted it. If it does what you need to do, it's got browsing, it's got retouching, it's got effects, resizing, printing. I mean, it's got the whole thing. Like you could use it. So back to the whole point of that is they're doing it because it must be working.
Right.
Yeah. Right. They've been doing it for years, and they're all making new plugins, which means there's got to be a market.
Yeah, because it's not working. It ain't working. All right, let's see. Yudu says, and you're speaking about
this is a good one
about Photoshop. I use it less and less, but for what I use it, I won't want to miss it.
He might not be American, but I'm going to guess he's saying
I use it less and less, but for what I use it, I won't want to miss it.
I think what he's saying is for the things that you need it for, you're really, really happy to have it.
Because I mean, some of the things that, especially when you get to retouching and portraits and effects and stuff, and you're right, there are a lot of canned things, but I tell you what. So at Dodd Dick's Photo says Photoshop is alive and improving. I will say this. Thing about, I went to Matt's office one day and said, Matt, I want to name features in Camera Raw that have been introduced since the Creative Cloud. And I said, did you know about this? Matt's like, no. I go, neither did I. Did you know about this? No. Neither. I did a whole class on the CC stuff. I was stunned, Emma. That is true. Photoshop isn't just alive. They keep adding new things and new things and new things.
I don't think we just did ourselves a justice for Photoshop guys, though, did we?
Probably
Come
not.
to us. But so, hey, in response to what he said, so we have a video that was queued up because it just got released today, and I sent it over to the control room because I thought it'd be pretty applicable. And he hit it on it. Photoshop is alive and improving.
Yep.
And for photographers, because when you see this video, you'll see exactly how a photographer could use it. But it's like a little sneak peek from Adobe.
Oh, here we go, sneak peek time.
Today, so.
Photoshop sneak peek. Photoshop
Hi,
sneak peek.
I'm Zorana G, Photoshop Product Manager, and I'm here to share with you a sneak peek of a really cool feature that we're working on for Photoshop CC. We're adding a new way to make an automatic selection based off of pixels that are in focus versus out of focus. This is a really common thing that a photographer or a designer working with an image needs to do. Take this poster here, for example. I have this image here on the bottom right that I actually want to select out the background of and maybe drop down the red hue. I can automatically select for what's in focus and make an invert to that selection. Let's go ahead and open up this smart object so you can see the image. It has a nice shallow depth of field, and I'll go ahead and invoke select focus area, and now Photoshop will automatically generate a mask based off of what's in focus. I have my brushes here on the left that I can add to the mask as well as eliminate. Take a little bit away here. Now this works really great for hard edges. For the soft edges or the areas with more transparency, I'll go ahead and hop into Refine Edge. And I'll brush just along the hair here. And then click OK. And there you have it. Now I just have to invert the selection to select out the background, add my adjustment layer, drop down the reds, or maybe do something a little more dramatic so you can see the effect. And that's Select Focus Area, automatic mask creation for areas in your image that are in focus. Now make sure you tune into our event on June 18th to see all that's coming to Photoshop and Creative Cloud. Thank you.
That's some cool stuff, dude.
Selections, dude. Anything selections is for a photographer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So might not be for every photographer,
right?
But there's a lot of photographers that need to accurately select something. I think that's a difference. Lightroom can select.
But Matt, do you think there'll be more things for photographers in the June 18th reveal?
Well, on June 18th, I would bet you that there would be.
It would be interesting.
You should go on June 18th. So Adobe's doing the whole thing. They've been kind of putting it out on the web there. So there's a whole come see what's new.
Yeah.
On June 18th, I think you can sign up and they have a webcast.
And it's free.
It's free.
Hey, if you're in the Creative Cloud, you're going to get all this stuff anyway.
Yep.
It's a love thing. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll read a couple more of your questions here. We're going to take a little break, Rooney. Mike will still be here. He'll change clothes.
Flowered shirts.
Flowered shirts. Back to the flowered shirts. And don't go away. We'll be right back. We got some giveaways coming up here on the grid. Don't go away. Just said go away, right? Go away.
Hey, Corey, we're going to that new pizza place across the street after work. You in?
Yeah, I really wish I could, man. I'm under deadline with this book. I gotta get it done.
You're a machine, Corey. You're a machine!
Well, you have no idea.
From the robotic compositing mind of Corey Barker, learn step-by-step Photoshop tricks, type effects, extracting, textures, Hollywood effects, and really badass 3D. Photoshop Down and Dirty Tricks for Designers, Volume 2. Your mind will be composited away.
Hey, we're back. Scott Kelby here with Matt Kluskowski and Mike Hollywood Kubeisy. Hey, Tom Hogarty, who we mentioned earlier. So he's a big wig at Adobe.
Tom.
No, we love
He's watching
Tom.
the show.
No, he's a great guy. He's easy. We've had Tom on the show a number of times.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Tom's one of our buddies, which is the only reason why we can say stuff like that. So Tom wrote, there was no cheating in that video. Zorana recorded this Focus Mask demo in real time without any cuts or edits.
Yeah, so
cool.
there wasn't any, like, fast forwards or
yeah.
like making things work faster or anything like that.
Anyway, Tom.
Good stuff.
Hey, while we're talking to Tom, can we get some Lightroom feature requests in?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. But he's not really the product manager anymore. Now he's like, I think he's like an admin. Just kidding, Tom. Sorry. I think he's in charge.
You're not going to get your feature requests now, you know
he's
that.
in charge of the cafeteria. No, he moved up. He's got all kinds of power now. And
Just because of that comment, the slideshow module is doomed to never change again.
Crap. All right. Anyway, Tom, expect a call. Anyway, hey, Peach Pit Press, our friends at Peach Pit, offer an e-deal to our readers. It's 40% off of whatever book. And in this case, the book is called Learn by Video. All right. So it's a brand new thing. It's called Lighting Fundamentals for Photographers. And it's a video. It's not a book, really. It's a video. Is it? Yes, I heard it whisper. Thank you, Arnaldo. Yes, it is 40% off. It is this e-deal. You go to Kelby. We'll go to peachpit.com.
I think you were lied to. I think it's a video. You
It's
know
a
why?
video.
Because it says Kelby One viewers save 40% on the online video.
Yeah, all right. So go to peachpit.com/Kelby1. Enter the code Kelby1. Just keep saying that word Kelby1 over and over again, and you get
You'll
40%
get something,
off.
yeah.
Something will happen. Something will appear.
And it'll be a video.
All right, Christopher sent in a comment, asks, so are you saying that my ticket to Aperture World is no good?
It's possible.
No. You know, Aperture's not a bad program.
The slideshow's really good.
The slideshow, the slideshow's great. And that's the end of my story. Well, I used to think their books module, I used to use their books module quite a bit, but ever since Lightroom got the book module, I'm doing all my books in Lightroom. So, all right. Hey, what else do we got?
Jenny.
Who could we turn to?
I started doing photography just to get material to use in Photoshop. Photoshop will never die. Little heart sign.
Heart sign.
So I don't think Photoshop will die. I think, so here's what I'll say. I think, in answer to the question that we started with, is Photoshop dead for photographers? I think for some photographers, it could be. I think there's some photographers that can use Lightroom, can do what they need with a plugin, a $79 plugin, $100, a $14 plugin, and can do what they want. And I think there's other photographers that absolutely positively could not do their job without Photoshop and some of its features. Now, that said, I think Lightroom will improve and take away. Like panos. If somebody wanted to do a pano and you only had Lightroom, what would you do? You couldn't.
You can't do
have to
pano.
go get something else.
You can't do HDR.
So I bet you things will eventually come into Lightroom.
Well, we've seen that already happen, right? We've seen the healing brush come over, and we've seen things move from Photoshop to Lightroom. And so, I mean, Adobe made this choice to go down this path. So if I'm moving from one program to another program, and they work together if I want to use them together, I'm cool with it. But I just think that what the author stated in this case was a little painting with a very, very, very broad brush.
He used it as a hook to get you to read his article.
That was Mike talking. Mike said, by the way, Mike from Hollywood, you can find him on the NCIS set. It shouldn't be a problem because the security is very lax. He said he used it as a hook to get you to read the story. Do you think it was really a hook just because he wrote Photoshop is dead and put a tombstone and the Photoshop icon on that? That doesn't seem the least bit like trying to hook you in, especially when at the end. Read what it says at the end.
Right over here?
Yeah.
I mean, oh God, what does he say? So, yeah, I know many people think Photoshop is a dirty word that's somehow synonymous with creating unreality, but the truth is it doesn't bother me at all. Over the last 6 weeks, they've covered a bunch of Photoshop techniques, and he says those things simply can't be done to that degree inside of Lightroom. That's why we cover them. Photoshop is simply better for accurate editing, creative effects, and that's what it was designed for. I think it makes, if you think it makes stuff fake, you've just been looking at bad Photoshop. And just goes on to, make a case for why Photoshop is there and why it really exists.
Why it's so good.
So.
All right, we got some prizes, Matt?
We do. We got Corey's Down and Dirty book. We got your Photoshop for Lightroom users book.
And 2 tickets apiece to my tour coming up in Nashville next Tuesday. Also, Joe McNally's tour coming up 2 days later, which will be next Thursday in San Jose, and Corey Barker's tour in New Orleans.
Next week, or week after next?
Week after next. Hard to tell. But anyway, if you get a chance to see Corey live, or even Joe live, and if you see me live, it's very much like this, but, you know, Brad's there, so it draws your attention.
He does hand gestures.
So go to kelby1.com/webcasts/contest. So kelby1.com/webcasts/contest. Tell us what show you're watching, but in the comments section, there's something important to write in there. You have to let us know what you're trying to win. So if you live in San Jose and you want to go Joe's seminar, then we know that you would be somebody we would choose for that, or might choose for that. It's hard to tell.
And you can say nice things too.
Yeah.
That improves your chances.
Yeah, say nice things, it moves you up the top. Say mean things, probably not. So Mike.
So sir.
So thank you for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for all the Hollywood information.
It's always happening.
It's always cool. You know, every time I go out to LA, you invite me out to the set, and I don't always go because I don't like you that much. But
we feed you well.
Yeah, the craft services. Let me tell you, because for those of you who don't know what craft services is, it's a table where they have a bunch of craft foods like macaroni and cheese,
mayonnaise,
deluxe macaroni and cheese. Mayonnaise.
Extra cheesy macaroni and cheese.
Because the first time you said craft services to me and you're talking about it like I would know, I'm looking at you like, what's craft services?
Craft service is a table full of all the goodies you could ever imagine. When you have the munchies, you go to craft services. The reason they have it, when you're working, the last few days I've been here, people just get up and go. And they'll go to Starbucks or something. You can't do that on the set because in the next couple of minutes, I might have to go take a picture. So they bring that stuff to you. And we actually have a Starbucks coffee machine. And all the munchies, good,
they got
the healthy,
real
healthy vegetables.
Healthy and not healthy. They got everything there.
And the craft service guy always tells me, like, man, you lose the weight during the hiatus, and we put it back. And I said, no, I give you choices. You can eat the Snickers bar, or you can eat the celery sticks. You know. But everything, they have it all.
It is. It's worth it going. It's worth it going just for that.
Absolutely.
It's like a cruise ship buffet that's every day on the set.
Well
it's
put.
Incredible.
Great. Very well put.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you for having me.
Coming. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for doing your classes for Kelby One.
Always a blessing.
And can we send you back to Los Angeles now?
I'm on my way.
Can I tell you something? Can I just give you a little insight? Because, Mike, you seem very nice on the show today. You seem very kind.
Okay.
But I get a text from Mike once or so a week with a picture of him eating at my favorite restaurant. He just sends me a text. I'm going to look it up. Just pictures of In-N-Out Burger meals. He sent me one just last week I'm like, I'm in Prague, and there it is, like In-N-Out Burger. Because he knows I like it, and he knows they're not in Florida. So what Mike does is he just randomly sends me this crap all the time. Hold on, let me find it.
I'm sure I can find it.
Have you had Five Guys yet, Mike?
Yeah, we have Five Guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here's the last one.
Yeah, it's a finished
What camera
meal.
do I go to? Over to you? All right. So you have to get really tight on it. There it is. There's Mike. This is the finished meal. Sometimes
Sorry
he
to
sends it
invite
right
you.
before he eats it. I got to tell you, Mike, though, it's not as compelling when I actually see what you've eaten versus what you're going to eat. Oh,
There
here
you
we
go.
go. Here
There
we
you
go.
go. You know, when my boys are done playing baseball, they always want to go to In-N-Out Burger. And of course, I want to share it with you because I want you to feel the love.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Oh, here's another one. I got a million of these. It's very much the same view taken with the same camera. So when you think, Mike seemed like a really down-to-earth guy. All right, where can people learn more about you online? Do you have a blog? Do you have Facebook? You're Google Plus?
On Facebook.
Google Plus for a few more weeks?
That's gone. Are you kidding?
No, just kidding.
I'm on Facebook. The numeral 4 stills, and also my website is the number 4 stills.com. We'll find my.
So it's
work.
just 4 stills.
Yes.
The number 4.
Yeah.
Stills.com.
Right.
Stills.
That's
there you go.
Cool.
And then what's my Twitter feed? Mike 4 Stills, I think.
Mike for Stills?
Yeah.
I don't believe that for a minute.
Do you have it on your website?
Yeah.
Yes. Go to his website.
Nope. I'm looking it up now because I don't believe him. 4 Stills. Let's see.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, your wife.
This is enthralling TV.
I don't even follow you. There you are, Mike 4 Stills.
At Mike 4 Stills.
At Mike 4 Stills.
Yeah.
Not just 4 Stills.
No, Mike 4 Stills.
Mike for Stills. Who would you call for Stills? You'd call Mike.
That's right.
For Stills.
That's right.
All right, everyone stare
I don't know
silently
what
at
to
the
say.
screen.
I don't even know what to say.
I don't know what to say.
I think it's time to end the show.
You end it.
All right. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks to all the sponsors for sponsoring. I don't know how you do it, but
We
we
don't know why you
appreciate
do
it. Anyway, thanks for watching. We will see you back here next week on The Grid, Wednesday, 4 o'clock.
Hollywood.
Bye, Mike.
Bye, Mike. Mike for Stills.